Intermittent reinforcement. What is it? Well, I'm going to give you a classic example of intermittent reinforcement when it comes to sleep. So intermittent reinforcement is reinforcing a belief that a possible outcome is going to happen or might happen. Example, a child who normally sleeps in their own bed or at their own cot or in their own room, who maybe wakes a few times in the night, and mum or dad will go and help them resettle and they go back to sleep, or whatever happens, but come maybe 4 or 5 a.m, mum and dad have had enough, you're exhausted, you just feel groggy, you can't take it anymore, and you just think, oh, we'll all just get more sleep if you come in our bed, and you bring them in with you. Or a toddler or a preschooler that you've been putting back, and you go, oh, fine, just come in our bed then. That's intermittent reinforcement, because you're intermittently reinforcing the belief that coming into your bed is an option. That's what you're doing there. And when children are exposed to lots of intermittent reinforcement, it makes them very strong-willed, and it makes them very persistent. And why shouldn't it? You're teaching them that if they keep going long enough, whinge enough, keep on at you enough, or there's older ones, or for a baby, cry hard enough, protest strongly enough, or for long enough, that you will effectively cave, or that you will change your response and do something different. So it's like they keep going with something, and your behaviours and actions ultimately will change. They know this, so they keep going. Another way that I refer to this is no, yes syndrome. So imagine an older child who says, can I have some sweets? No, not today. Can I have some sweets? No. Can I have some sweets? No. Can I have some sweets? No. And it goes on, and then eventually you go, oh, all right then, and you give it to them. What does that teach the child? It teaches the child, if they keep on enough, that you'll give them the thing. Now that's a very black and white and different example, but the concept is still the same, because what happens is you're intermittently reinforcing that belief. And another common analogy is playing a slot machine. If you keep putting coins in, eventually it will pay out, and because it does pay out sometimes, it's enough to convince you that it could be you, and you might get lucky, and you keep playing it. And that's, again, a classic example of intermittent reinforcement. So long as you're holding on to that hope that outcome might happen, you're possibly going to keep going and trying for that outcome. Now, the opposite of intermittent reinforcement is consistency, and consistency is our best friend when it comes to parenting, because children need to learn what the parameters are. They need to learn what's okay and not okay, what's expected of them. Otherwise, it's almost not fair on them. How can they be expected to do something or comply with your wishes if they don't really know, because you've allowed sometimes to creep in? and it is, honestly, intermittent reinforcement is like such a common parenting blunder. We all do it. I've done it. I'm sure everybody has done something that would fit the intermittent reinforcement bracket. And usually they catch us at our weak moments. And that's fine, but having this knowledge and this information will just help you to be aware and to spot it, and to keep you going when you might be feeling a bit weak and think, no, I need to stay consistent, because it will pay dividends. It really, really will. And it's fairer on your child, because they know where they stand. They know what's expected of them. It's routine, it's consistent, and they thrive on that stuff. So how do we apply this to sleep? Because you can honestly apply this to every aspect of parenting and very many aspects in life generally, about being consistent with things. And consistency usually gets you results no matter what it is that you're talking about. Consistently exercising will keep you fit, for example. So, consistency is always going to be a good thing, but with sleep and helping your children, the whole thing of consistency as opposed to intermittent reinforcement just means that you're always giving the same response to the behaviour. So whatever that behaviour might be, and when I say behaviour, I do not mean naughtiness, I mean a behaviour, an action, a thing that your child or baby does, and that thing they do, the behaviour that they come out with, is met by a response from you that's consistent, so that every time it's the same. And as long as that thing you're doing is conducive to them going back to sleep, is kind and friendly and happy, it's responsive, it meets their needs, then you shouldn't have a problem. What that will do is it will mean that they quickly understand what's happening, what's expected, that there is no other outcome, so they will get better and better at complying, if you like, at doing the thing you want them to do. Now, an easy example to explain this is putting them back into their bed. If your child repeatedly gets up and you repeatedly take them back, and the end result is always that they go back to their beds, then they won't keep doing it. We don't, as human beings, we do not continue with behaviours that don't serve us. So your child will stop doing it eventually and will get better at settling in their bed. If they think you might cave, or you might do something different, or you might change your behaviour, they'll keep going. And so it continues and continues and continues. So yeah, just consider, where may I be intermittently reinforcing that this can happen? Why is my child really, really holding out? Well, they're holding out for something, and the chances are they're getting something from you that they're holding out for. So if that's not a good thing, then try and work out what that might be, and eliminate that, and take it back to, actually, no, what's going to help my child more is by being consistent in how I respond, so that they can get back to sleep and everyone can get their sleep and be rested and be healthy. So there you go, a quick guide to intermittent reinforcement, what it is, how it affects sleep, and the opposite is consistency.